Welcome back to Julia and Eric and Julia's Book Corner. Happy? Today we're doing Stephen King book haul. So this is the first one we got, and it's a first edition.
It's called Stephen King, Mr. Mercedes. So I'm going to read the description. In the pre-dawn hours in a distressed American city, hundreds of unemployed men and women line up for the opening of a job fair. They are tired and cold and desperate. Emerging from the fog, invisible until it's too late, a lone driver plows through the crowd in a stolen Mercedes, running over the innocent, backing up and charging again. 8 people are killed, 15 are wounded. The killer escapes. A month later, an ex-cop named Bill Hodges, still haunted by the unsolved crime, contemplates suicide. When he gets a crazed letter from the Perk claiming credit for the murders, Hodges wakes up from his depressed and vacant retirement, fearing another even more diabolical attack and hell-bent on preventing it. Barty Hartfield lives with his alcoholic mother in the house where he was born. He loved the feel of death under the wheels of his Mercedes, and he wants that rush again. Only Bill Hodge, with a couple of eccentric and mismatched allies, can apprehend the killer before he strikes again, and they have no time to lose. Because Brady's next mission, if it succeeds, will kill or maim thousands. Mr. Mercedes is a war between good and evil, from the master of suspense whose insight into the mind of this obsessed, insane killer is chilling and unforgettable. Wow. So that's that.
And it's a first edition.
Yeah, we got a bunch of Stephen King books today. And then this one's a big boy. Look how thick that one is. Wow. Long read. Let me just see how many pages are in this. 1,000. Wow. There's over 1,000 pages in here.
Okay. Here you go.
So this one is called, it's called The Stand. For the first time, complete and uncut. This is the way the world ends, with a nanosecond of computer error in a Defense Department laboratory and a million casual contacts that forms the link of a chain letter of death. And here is the bleak new world of the day after. A world stripped of its institutions and emptied of 99% of its people. A world in which a handful of panicky survivors chooses sides, or are chosen. A world in which good rides on the frail shoulders of the 108-year-old Mother Abigail, and the worst nightmares of evil are embodied in a man with a lethal smile and unspeakable powers, Randall Flagg, the Dark Man. In 1978, Stephen King published The Stand, the novel that is now considered one of his finest works. But as it was first published, The Stand was incomplete, since more than 150,000 words had been cut from the original manuscript. Now Stephen King's apocalyptic version of the world blasted by a plague and embroiled in an elemental struggle between good and evil has been restored. Ooh. Exciting.
This is going to be a long read.
But exciting.
And the next one is this. And this is also a first edition.
So here we got Full Dark, No Stars. I believe there is another man inside every man, a stranger, writes Wilfred Leland James in the early pages of the riveting confession that makes up 1922, the first in this black quartet of mesmerizing tales from Stephen King. For James, the stranger is awakened when his wife, Arlette, proposes selling off the family homestead and moving to Omaha, settling in motion a gruesome train of murder and madness. In Big Driver, a cozy mystery writer named Tess encounters a stranger along a back road in Massachusetts when she takes a shortcut home after a book club engagement. Violated and left for dead, Tess plots revenge that will bring her face to face with another stranger, the one inside herself. Fair Extension, the shortest of these tales, is perhaps the nastiest and certainly the funniest. Making a deal with the devil not only saves Dave Streeter from a fatal cancer, but provides rich recompense for a lifetime of resentment. When her husband of more than 20 years is away on one of his business trips, Darcy Anderson looks for batteries in the garage. Her toe knocks up against the box under a work table, and she discovers a stranger inside her husband. It's a horrifying discovery, rendered with bristling intensity, and it definitely ends a good marriage. Like Different Seasons and 4 Past Midnight, which generated such enduring films as A Shawshank Redemption and Stand By Me, Full Dark, no stars proves Stephen King's a master of the long story form. Ooh. All these books just make me want to say ooh.
Ooh. Next we have this one.
So this is Stories Just After Sunset. Also a first edition. Stephen King, who has written more than 50 books, dozens of #1 New York bestsellers, and many unforgettable movies, delivers an astonishing collection of short stories. His first since Everything is Eventual 6 years ago. As guest editor of the best-selling Best American Short Stories 2007, King spent over a year reading hundreds of stories. His renewed passion for the form is evident on every page of Just After Sunset. The stories in the collection have appeared in The New Yorker, Playboy, McSweeney's, The Paris Review, Esquire, and other publications. Who but Stephen King would turn a Porto San into a slimy birth canal, or a roadside honky-tonk into a place of endless love? A book salesman with a grievance might pick up a mute hitchhiker, not knowing the silent man is a passenger seat, listens along altogether too well. Or an exercise routine on a stationary bicycle begun to reduce bad cholesterol might take its rider on a captivating and then terrifying journey. Set on a remote key in Florida, The Gingerbread Girl is a riveting tale featuring a young woman as vulnerable and resourceful as Audrey Hepburn's character in Wait Until Dark. In Ayana, a blind girl works a miracle with a kiss and the touch of her hand. For King, the line between living and dead is often blurry, and the seams that hold our reality intact might tear apart at any moment. In one of the longer short stories, here, N, which recently broke new ground when it was adapted as a graphic digital entertainment, a psychiatrist's patient's irrational thinking might create an apocalyptic threat in the Maine countryside, or keep the world from falling victim to it. Just After Sunset, call it dusk, call it twilight. It's a time when human intercourse takes on an unnatural cast, when nothing is quite as it appears, when the imagination begins to reach for shadows as they dissipate to darkness, and living daylight can be scared right out of you. It's the perfect time for Stephen King.
And this one's the next one.
Under the Dome by Stephen King. On a beautiful day, a small New England town is suddenly and inexplicably sealed off from the rest of the world by an invisible force field. Planes crash into it and raining down flaming wreckage. A gardener's hand is severed as the dome descends. Cars explode on impact. Families are separated and panic mounts. No one can fathom what the barrier is, where it came from, or when or if it will go away. Now, a few intrepid citizens led by an Iraq vet turned short order cook face down a ruthless political dead set on seizing the reins of power under the dome. But their main adversary is the dome itself, because time isn't just running short, it's running out. Ooh. It's one of the classics. And then we had the first in the Dark Tower series, Gunslinger.
So this is the second one, right here.
The drawing of the three.
We won't read the back because we don't want to give any spoilers because we haven't
Read
the first one. But just to let you guys know, we have this one, and then
we have the third one, The Wastelands.
And then we have this one.
The fourth one, what's it called? The Wizard and Glass. And the fifth one, Wolves of Calla.
And that would be the end of our video today.
Yeah.
So this was our Stephen King haul. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today.